Frameshift drive charging. System scan complete. Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Thargoid conflict discussed at the Galactic Summit. Potential solutions to the threat posed by the Thargoid race are being debated at the diplomatic conference in the Sadr System. Political correspondent Conrad Sterling reported for Vox Galactica. As always, the topic of the Thargoids brings division. The Alliance delegation has portrayed the aliens as a universal danger, while the Empire and Federation took a more balanced view. Professor Albert Tesro's plea to increase support for Aegis was well received, but many delegates argued that further anti-Xeno breakthroughs were needed to justify additional funding. To this end, Aegis will undertake new research into the Guardians, hoping to discover a technological advantage from that ancient species. Prime Minister Mahone's proposal for strategic cooperation against the Thargoids, known as the Sirius Treaty, is now being examined in detail. Supporters view it as a logical progression from the recently agreed Cornelius-Lasky Convention. There was minor uproar when Archon Delane agreed to be a signatory. Coupled with similar commitments from the Marlinist colonies and other independents, this has brought pressure upon the Empire and Federation to follow suit. If ratified, the Sirius Treaty could be the crowning achievement of the conference. However, putting it into practice will require a huge influx of resources. Decisions are expected before the end of this week.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete. Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Galactic Mysteries. The Adamastor. Eric Gunnarsson and Francesca Wolf, two detectives from the Wall Glass Investigations Agency, examine the background of the Adamastor megaship. Gunnarsson: when Wolf and I started this project, we knew this case would come first. We're both protégés of Benjamin Chester, creator of the Wall Glass Archive. He retired years ago, but that old spark kicked in when a ghost ship turned up on his doorstep. The Adamastor is a 200-year-old derelict that drifted into the Chukchan system on autopilot. It's still there, with the Alliance Salvage Guild poking through its guts. Chester investigated its owners, a super-secretive company called Azimuth Biochemicals. We don't know what they were searching for, but what they found was possibly the first recorded Thargoid encounter. I've since tracked down evidence that the Adamastor had a sister ship, the Hesperus, which in 3113 was sent to somewhere. Neither ship returned, but we only know what happened on the Adamastor mission. Of course, Wolf had to go see that with her own eyes. Wolf. Muscadark Region PJPB61 is a busy system nowadays, but was unexplored when Professor Carver's survey team were there. Listening to their logs from 2 centuries ago while examining the research base was chilling. Ghost voices from a ghost ship. There was evidence of blast scars, but I've seen enough battlefields to know what exchanged gunfire looks like. Azimuth's mercenaries weren't just firing at Thargoids, but at someone who shot back with laser rifles. Gunarsin tells me Azimuth was swallowed up by a rival called Pharmasapien. Did they infiltrate the Adamastor and try to take over? Or did the thing that Carver captured drive everyone insane? This is a seriously cold case, even for us. But maybe one day, more tantalizing clues will emerge. And that's what we live for. Nine starports hit by terrorist bombings. Pilots Federation alert. Explosions have struck starports across the Alliance, Empire and Federation in a coordinated bombing attack by the NMLA. The capital systems of all 3 superpowers, Akana, Aelioth and Sol, have been targeted by the terrorists, as well as 6 other high-population systems. Precise casualty numbers are unavailable, but several 100,000 people have been killed with many more injured. There are urgent calls for independent pilots to rescue survivors and support repair operations at all 9 locations. Dawes Hub in the Akanar system, Donaldson in the Aelioth system, Dublin Citadel in the Gateway system, Han Gateway in the Nanomum system, Ito Orbital in the Rhea system, Lathe Station in the Lathe system, Li Qingjiao in the Sol system, Parkinson Dock in the Eotienza system, Shajan Market in the Kamadhenu system. The explosive damage to each station is consistent with corrosive enzyme weapons previously used by the NMLA. This has triggered automated systems designed to respond to Thargoid assaults. The Alliance Defense Force, Federal Navy and Imperial Navy are on full alert. Other military and security forces across the core systems are preparing for possible further attacks. The Galactic Summit has been temporarily suspended while Alliance, Empire and Federation leaders respond to the emergency. A full lockdown is in effect in the Sirius system, where the scheduled bounty hunting and trade initiatives have been cancelled.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Galactic Summit cancelled. NMLA attacks superpowers. The conference in the Sirius system has ended prematurely after terrorist bombings against 9 starports across the Alliance, Empire and Federation. Sirius Corporation confirmed that the cancellation was due to fears that Patterson Enterprise Station may be the next target. All scheduled business, including finalizing the Sirius Treaty, has been halted. The delegations are returning to their home systems under high security. Temporary permits for the Sirius system will remain in place for 1 week. Pilots who contributed to the security and trade initiatives held in partnership with the Empire can collect their rewards at the Spirit of Leylaps. Core Dynamics, Gutermeyer and Lakon Spaceways will continue to offer a 10% discount on all their ships for 1 more week. The Neo-Marlinist Liberation Army has claimed responsibility for the simultaneous attacks in 9 systems, including superpower capitals Akana, Aelioth and Sol. The following message was broadcast on NMLA propaganda channels. I no longer have a name, nor a family, nor a future, each taken by the Empire. Now all I have is the dehumanizing number printed on my uniform in their torture chambers. Now all I am is Theta 7. The Alliance and Federation's rulers have revealed themselves as imperialist supporters of the Duval dynasty, which has crushed our ideals for 1,000 years. Peoples of the galaxy, you can change this. We give you your own 9 martyrs. Use them to retake control and regain your power. Media news feeds are detailing the impact and implications of the attacks. There is speculation that NMLA activists were concealed among Marlinist refugees that fled to Alliance and Federation space to escape Imperial persecution. The Marlinist Parliament has officially stated it has no connection to Neo-Marlinist extremists, and that it will cooperate with security and emergency services during this crisis. 9 starports hit by terror.
Surface scan complete.
Starport bombing casualties include Federal Vice President Brad Mitchell and a number of federal cabinet members have been killed in a recent terrorist attack on a starport orbiting Earth. The NMLA planted caustic enzyme explosives at Li Qingjiao Station, where a government meeting was taking place. The VP and cabinet members were confirmed to be among tens of thousands of casualties. 8 other starports across all 3 superpowers were simultaneously bombed. President Zachary Hudson, who was attending the Galactic Summit during the attack, made this statement: "This atrocity is nothing less than a declaration of war, and we will respond accordingly. For now, we mourn the loss of my close friend Brad Mitchell and other heroes of the Federation. I will personally appoint replacements to their positions soon." The Federation has directly accused the Empire of being responsible by allowing neo-Marlinist bomb makers to escape from a secret prison facility. The Imperial Senate reiterated that Serene Harbor does not exist and is part of a federal disinformation campaign. Followers of Marlinism have also received much public criticism. The Marlinist colonies have repeatedly stressed that they do not support the NMLA and are unconnected to the attacks. Independent pilots have been asked to assist rescue and repair operations in the Akana, Alioth, Eotienses, Gateway, Kamadhenu, Lathe, Nanoman, Rhea and Sol systems. Galactic Summit cancelled. Superpowers respond to 9 Martyrs attack. Political fallout has been intense after the NMLA simultaneously bombed 9 starports in the Alliance, Empire and Federation. The targeted stations are in the Akana, Alioth, Eotienses, Gateway, Kamadhenu, Lathe, Nanoman, Rhea and Sol systems. These were referred to by NMLA propaganda as the 9 Martyrs, a reference to the attack against Kepler Orbital last November. All 3 superpowers are treating this as a major emergency. Top-level discussions have taken place between their chiefs of security, using communication protocols recently established at the Galactic Summit. However, mainstream media has also reported on internal political tensions. The Imperial Herald, Senator Patrios proposed that all known Marlinists be arrested immediately as NMLA collaborators. He received a direct rebuke from Chancellor Blame, who said, "Her Majesty views your blunt tactics as having been counterproductive and requires more creative solutions." The Federal Times, President Hudson opened Congress with a minute's silence to honor VP Brad Mitchell and other deceased cabinet members. He then directly blamed Shadow President Winters for their deaths, claiming, "You invited terrorists with your virtue signaling aid program for fake refugees." The Alliance Tribune, the Assembly broadly welcomed Prime Minister Mahone's call for unity against the NMLA and praised his efforts on the Sirius Treaty despite it remaining unsigned. But there was also support for Councillor Kane's viewpoint: our entry fee for the Galactic Summit was hundreds of thousands of lives. Starport bombing casualties include Anti-NMLA Intelligence Unit formed. The Alliance, Empire and Federation have
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Created a centralized agency dedicated to investigating and eliminating the NMLA paramilitary group. The new Affiliated Counter-Terrorism Unit, or ACT, is a direct result of the Cornelius-Lasky Convention, which was signed at the Galactic Summit. This treaty requires the superpowers to share information on any large-scale threats to civilian populations. With a combined death toll rising over 500,000, the recent starport bombings have obtained such status. ACT will be jointly led by the veterans of the Tri-Superpower Task Force that defeated the League of Reparation in 3304, Captain Niam Sutonia of the Imperial Internal Security Service, Inspector Mara Klatt of Alliance Interpol, and Senior Agent Tanya Ramirez of the Federal Intelligence Agency. Captain Sutonia gave a brief statement. ACT is an independent organization dedicated to bringing the NMLA to justice. We will draw resources from Alliance, Empire and Federation security forces and elsewhere. However, we foresee the need for even larger numbers of dedicated personnel. Therefore, we have contacted the Pilots Federation for permission to invite independent pilots to gather information for us when necessary. Pilots are advised that civilians still require transportation from damaged starports in the Akana, Alioth, Eotiensis, Gateway, Kamathenyu, Lathe, Nanomum, Rhea and Sol systems. Medical supplies needed for starport bombing survivors. Pilots Federation alert. Safeguard Interstellar requires deliveries of medicines to treat casualties from the NMLA's recent terrorist attack. The humanitarian aid organization is helping to coordinate relief efforts for the starports in the Alliance, Empire and Federation that were bombed last week. CEO Noel Beaumont announced, hundreds of thousands of civilians still require urgent medical attention after being evacuated from the damaged stations. Many have severe caustic burns inflicted by the corrosive enzyme payload of the explosives. We have already exhausted the majority of supplies in nearby systems. To reinforce overstretched health services, we request shipments of basic medicines and advanced medicines. These can be delivered to 3 starports being used as staging areas: Krylov Ring in the Hebo system, Mackenzie Relay in the Samir system, and Davis Terminal in the Duamta system. Safeguard Interstellar has partnered with 3 local factions, Paris Ring Brewery, Lavigny's Legion, and the Duamta Gold Creative Corp, to reward pilots and distribute the medicines within each superpower. Pilots can provide further help by directly delivering repair materials to damaged starports in the Akana, Alioth, Eotiensis, Gateway, Kamathenyu, Lathe, Nanomum and Rhea systems. The Qingjiao station in the Sol system remains an active disaster zone, with civilians still requiring evacuation.
scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Galactic Mysteries, the NMLA. Private investigators Eric Gunnarsson and Francesca Wolf review the Neo-Marlinist Liberation Army. Gunnarsson: we don't usually get involved with political cases, but it's hard to ignore the largest terrorist attack in history. The NMLA is a radical offshoot of Marlinism, a democratic movement named after the Republic of Akana's original ruler, Marlin de Val. Most are peaceful protester types, but neo-Marlinists want to overthrow the government by permanently removing the imperial family. What nobody knows is how the NMLA went from minor troublemakers to interstellar terrorists. The starport bombings last September came from nowhere, and their assassins have killed many imperial bigwigs including Prince Harold de Val. Smart money was on them being funded by Empire's enemies, but now the NMLA treat the Alliance and Federation as equal targets. Hitting all three superpower capitals was a hugely symbolic gesture, and should have been impossible. How did they bypass security and plant explosives without detection? Who the hell are these people? Even Wallglass doesn't have a clue. But we won't stop searching. Wolf: despite my inquiries, and some unauthorized snooping, there's no trace of the rumored NMLA bomb factory in LTT 1935. But it did once exist, because the Empire captured its occupants. Not that they'll admit it. There is no such place as Serene Harbor, right? Well, I've been to RCRA Sector AFAD-423B and seen it myself. It's bleak, hope-crushing, and yet the NMLA prisoners listed as Theta Group escaped, broken out by what seems like Imperial intelligence double agents. That genuinely scares me. If the NMLA can worm inside the most shadowy security organization in known space, they could be anywhere. And none of us are safe. Medical supplies needed for starport bombing